Okay, it's one thing to change the translation of the name of a person, but it's another thing to change the title of the said person. When Keith was introduced, he was called the Black Priest or the Black Monk. Now he's called the Ebony Cardinal. What was wrong with Black Priest or Black Monk? Unless this is the actual true translation of the title, then okay, fine. It's just, I hate it when that happens. When you call a person or a thing that name, only until later on it was revealed that they go by a different name, and you have to call that by the different name. It gets really frustrating, especially when you're used to calling them by their previous name. Fuck it. Cue the intro. Hey guys, LunarSpawn27 here, bringing you Fairy Tale Chapter 374, Revolution. So the chapter begins with Wendy, Lucy, Happy, and Charle being confronted by the member of the Kyukemon, Ebony Cardinal Keith. Since 40 minutes remain until Face activates, Lucy and Wendy don't have time to deal with him, so they're gonna distract him long enough so that they can make a run for it. However, Franmalth pops out of his hiding spot, confronting the girls and exceeds. So Wendy decides to summon two of her celestial spirits, Taurus and Aries. Aries used 100% fluffy wool to block Keith and Franmalth's field of vision, while Taurus swings his axe around to create a wool typhoon to distract the two. Using this as an opportunity, Happy and Charle fly Wendy and Lucy out of the room. Wendy learned the location of Face, which happens to be the Great Cave in Poison Jelly Valley. Poison Jelly Valley? The hell kind of name is that for... Fuck it. So, Wendy and Lucy fly out of the room, hopefully trying to escape from Tartarus' headquarters. However, Keith just pops out of nowhere and blocks their escape. How did he get there so fast while he was still in the Grand Archive room? Teleportation or clone? Who knows? Anyway, Lucy decides that they're gonna rush him head on if they're gonna have any chance to escape. However, a dark aura surrounds Keith while he activates his cursed ability, Maleficent. Nope! Gray punches him in the face. That's very convenient. Although, two things to point out with this scene. One, the ability that Keith was going to use, even though it wasn't completely said, it was Maleficent, which is the astrology term for bad star or one that is unlucky. So maybe his cursed ability revolves around bad luck. Maybe he gives bad luck to his opponents or something. Now, the second thing to point out. When Gray punched Keith, part of his body just dissolved into this black powdery substance. Kind of reminded me of the magic barrier particles that Tempesta used, except this one looks a lot thicker. So maybe this is another one of Keith's abilities, which would mean that trying to hurt Keith will be difficult since his body can dissolve into this powdery black substance. Now, since Wendy and Lucy were in a bit of a rush, they decide to fly on ahead away from Gray and Keith, even though I wish they told Gray what they're doing, but since they're in a hurry to get to Face on time before it activates, it's kind of understandable. So it looks like Gray is gonna fight against Keith, who by the way points out that Gray is Silver's something, but we don't know because we cut back to Lucy and Wendy flying away. Okay, seriously, Hiramashima, is Silver Gray's father, or is he his future self? I mean, I wish they'd hurry up and reveal the connection between Gray and Silver already. Because if Gray really is Silver's son, I can totally see a Star Wars moment with Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker happening right now. But if Silver is Gray's future self, hopefully they'll do a better job on Silver than they did with future Rogue. Seriously, the guy caused all that shit because his Exceed Frost died. And people say Obito is a bad villain. Alright, back with Lucy and Wendy. They're close to escaping. However, they're confronted by Franmalth, who is covered with fluff and has Aries' horns on his head. So why does his appearance resembles to Aries? It turns out that his cursed ability involves absorbing souls. So he absorbed Aries and Taurus, which allows him to take their appearances and use their abilities. Wait, absorbing souls and using the abilities of the souls being absorbed? Why does that sound so familiar to me?
Your soul is mine. No!
Now I'm expecting Franmalth to say that. Speaking of Franmalth, he uses the fluff to trap Lucy and Happy, but Lucy tells Wendy to go on ahead, which she does so flying out the window. However, Franmalth intends not to let her escape by stretching out his arm to grab her. However, his arm got blown off, and it was caused by none other than Natsu, who has a new different outfit. Probably stolen by one of the guards who he defeated. Natsu doesn't understand what the hell was going on while Wendy flies on ahead. Lucy tells him that Face has been activated and has to be stopped by manually, which is why Wendy is leaving while they stay to save everybody else, who are prisoners in Tartarus. Now we learn the name of Franmalth's cursed ability, Revolution, which allows him to transform into Taurus. Sort of. He just has a similar appearance to Taurus. That's all. Also, this kind of explains what Franmalth tried to do against Natsu the first time they fought. I thought he was trying to absorb his energy. Turns out he was just absorbing his soul, which he failed to do so. Now, there was a moment when Franmalth called Wendy a rat, even though he just metaphorically called her a rat because she was sneaking around like one, but Natsu took it too literally and said that Wendy wasn't a rat and Charle wasn't, in case he was wondering. And I guess this was supposed to be funny, which is not, because it just makes Natsu look stupid. Lucy demands Franmalth to give back Aries and Taurus, but Franmalth refuses, so Natsu then decides to kick his ass, which he starts to do so with a fire dragon slayer punch. But before he can do it, Franmalth, being the evil SOB that he is, transforms his head into Aries, which allows Natsu to hesitate and gives Franmalth the opportunity to slam him onto the ground with his fist. He attempts to absorb Natsu's soul, but Natsu dodges, and before he can attack, Franmalth transforms his head into Taurus. Now, you'd think with Natsu he would hesitate to attack, considering that these were Lucy's celestial spirits, but no, he actually has no problem beating the living shit out of Taurus. That's kind of mean by Natsu. Then again, it's understandable considering it's Taurus and all, but still. So after that punch, Franmalth gets really pissed off and he decides to show them the most powerful of his souls, which he turns into this smoky being thing, which surprises Natsu, Lucy, and Happy because they seem to recognize the soul that Franmalth is transforming into. What is this soul? Well, we won't know because the chapter ends with Wendy and Charle flying away, heading towards Face's location with 34 minutes left until Face activates. Goddamn cliffhangers. So yeah, that is Fairy Tail chapter 374. What did I think? I thought the chapter was pretty decent. It was a pretty good chapter. Basically, it's setting up for two upcoming fights, Keith versus Gray, which that's something I am interested in seeing, especially since we don't know a lot about Keith's curse ability. But judging by the curse he was about to use, Maleficent, it probably has something to do with bad luck. However, there was the cock tease of Gray and Silver's connection, which... Okay, seriously, when is Hiro Mashima gonna reveal it already? I mean, is Gray Silver's son or is Gray Silver's past self? I mean, seriously, come on. Now, the next upcoming fight, it looks like it's going to be Natsu and Lucy versus Franmalth. Now, since it's risky for them to use close combat attacks, since Franmalth can absorb their souls if he comes in contact with them, they might resort to long-range attacks. However, there was the cliffhanger ending of Franmalth's transformation, which is supposedly his most powerful of his souls that he absorbed. Not sure what it could be, but judging by the appearance, it might be, I don't know, I'm going on a limb and say Atlas Flame maybe because of the smoky appearance, but I've heard two other theories that it might be either Hades or Gildarts. I don't know if it's those three, but it has to be somebody that Natsu, Lucy, and Happy recognize. And since they were surprised that Franmalth has his soul, it has to be somebody that they least expect. Somebody that they thought is dead, or somebody that they've never seen for a very long time. But we'll just probably have to wait and see next week's chapter. Now, it seems that Wendy and Charle are going to be the ones to try to deactivate Face. However, Ezel is there, and let's say hypothetically Torufusa is there. I don't know if Wendy will be able to defeat those two, because we haven't seen Torufusa and Ezel's abilities. We don't know what they can do, so it's hard to tell whether Wendy will be able to beat them. But if Wendy does struggle a bit with her fight, some of the Fairy Tail Guild members might head towards Face's location. However, Lucy's the only other person who knows where it is. So Lucy will have to either go there herself or she'll tell the rest of the Fairy Tail Guild members and take some of them with her. But we'll just have to wait and see how this all turns out later on. So next week's chapter is called The Supernatural. I'm assuming that this is going to be the Gray versus Keith fight, or Natsu and Lucy versus Franmalth. I'm hoping we're continuing with Franmalth because I want to know, like, what is the most powerful of his soul that has gotten Natsu, Lucy, and Happy all shook up. So hopefully it's going to be that. If not, then probably the Gray versus Keith fight. So overall, this chapter was pretty decent to read. We got plenty of action. The plot is moving forward. However, there are still some cock teases with some of the mysteries in this arc, especially with a new one added with that cliffhanger ending. But still, this was a pretty good read for Fairy Tail. So yeah, that is Fairy Tail chapter 374. Tell me, guys, what do you think of this week's chapter? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Any ideas of who or what the strongest soul that Franmalth has? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like the video if you like it and subscribe to more videos. Also, be sure to check out my Facebook fan page and Google+. So yeah, that is Fairy Tail chapter 374. I'm Lunar Spawn 27, and I will see you guys later. Bye.